what it sounds like, and as we approach an American election, is that really what you're channeling with a greater and greater sense of the kind of maple-flavored version of MAGA, But it does not. It does not do any. It does not do this change.
I know you think it's partisan when we in the Conservatives care about hurting families, Leader. We in the Conservatives care about what's happening. Again, Leader, this information is coming from the nonpartisan PBO. Do you dispute his findings, yes or no? Fellow Canadians will once again struggle to put food on the table this Thanksgiving. The cost of living crisis fueled by the carbon tax is still hurting families. This morning, the Parliamentary Budget Officer released yet another report which shows the carbon tax costs Canadians more than they get back from the NDP Liberals, contrary to what you say all the time, Leader. The third paragraph states, and I quote, in 2030-31, taking into consideration both fiscal and economic impacts, PBO estimates that the average household in each of the backstop provinces will see a net cost. I know you think it's partisan when we in the Conservatives care about hurting families, Leader. We in the Conservatives care about what's happening. Again, Leader, this information is coming from the nonpartisan PBO. Do you dispute his findings, yes or no?
Senator Gold.
No, I neither dispute their findings nor consider questions of this kind to be what I've deemed in other circumstances to be regrettable, if not indeed hyper-partisan. But I think you're being a bit selective in quoting from the PBO. It's true that after correcting an error, the PBO affirmed that, in fact, Canadian households, as I have been saying, 8 out of 10 will receive more back than they actually pay. The PBO then made estimates and projections about what additional costs may accrue as a result of the price on pollution or impact on investment. And indeed, that is what they concluded. But absent from their report, and I don't criticize them for this, was any calculation of what the costs of inaction would do. Any calculation of what removing or axing the tax, to be fairly simplistic about it, would impose on Canadians. We only have to look at the cost of the environmental degradation and cost to our economy and society to see that it's an incomplete analysis.
Twist yourself every pretzel you want, Leader. What's changed for better in Canada since the last Thanksgiving, Leader? Food bank usage is at a record high. Rent is still too high. Crime is rampant. Anti-Semitism has gotten worse. And we've seen more corruption and more waste from this incompetent NDP Liberal regime. I could go on and on. Leader, is it not time for a carbon tax election?
Hear, hear.
Senator Gold.
What clearly has not gotten better is the quality of sloganeering and facile. What it sounds like, and as we approach an American election, is that really what you're channeling with a greater and greater sense of the kind of maple-flavored version of MAGA, But it does not. It does not do any. It does not do this change.
Senator Gold, je vous donne la parole.
Senator Gold, you have the floor.
Senator Gold, recently the Canadian Trucking Alliance called on the federal parties to cut red tape and tax and to restore fairness for truckers. Their number one ask was an end to the carbon tax. It's not coming from us, Senator Gold. It's not talking points. It's not sloganeering. It's coming directly from them. That's the men and women who work day and night, often away from their own family, in order to provide our family food, clothing, etc. In their report, they stated that this year alone, the Trudeau carbon tax will add almost $2 billion annually trucking costs. By 2030, those additional costs will be $4 billion. And over the 12-year phase-in of the Trudeau carbon tax, it will cost the trucking industry a total of additional $26 billion. So, Senator Gold, we already see razor-thin margins for these hard-working Canadians, and they're passing those costs along to consumers. Why won't you admit that this is a cash grab, nothing more, not fighting climate change, and it's pummeling hard-working middle
Senator Gold.
Well, thank you for your question. This is not a cash grab. But yes, a price on pollution is a price on pollution and it has a cost. And it has a cost in order that behavior change. It remains the case, Senator Housakis, and with your business background, I would assume you know this, although it's not convenient. This is an inconvenient truth, perhaps, if I may gesture towards another domain. But it is a fact that any alternative, none of which have been presented for our consideration, to addressing climate change would cost more. And whether it's whether it's a regulatory regime or the like, this remains what mainstream conservative economists recognize is the most market-sensitive and cost-effective and effective tool.
Senator Housakis.
And the PBO would not disagree with
Senator Gold, all I know from my business experience is that this carbon tax is pummeling hard working class Canadians because the costs are trickling down to them. And it's going directly from the truckers to the customers at the grocery stores. That's what's happening with your carbon tax. And I know your government and Prime Minister Trudeau and some independent senators are not particularly fond of the trucking industry, but I am, because they are the lifeblood of this country. They put food on our tables, they put medicine on our tables, and it's simple what you need to do. Axe the tax and alleviate the pain on the middle class Canadians.
Senator Gold.
I love the trucking industry. I don't know what you're talking about.
You know, it's amazing how you can look into the hearts and minds of independent senators. I mean, you have accused us for 7.5 years of not being truly independent. You don't know what we think or what respect. I assume that every senator in this place has respect for hardworking Canadians and for the difficult times that we are all going through, that many are going through.
Senator Arnott.
Thank you, Speaker. Senator Gold, I was Treaty Commissioner in Saskatchewan 20 years ago during the embryonic discussions between the Whitecap Dakota First Nation and the Government of Canada about adhering to Treaty 6. Following the recent passing of Bill C-51, I reminded both parties that in order for this relationship to flourish, two principles have to be in place: the honour of the Crown and the honour of the First Nations. No one can call into question the honour of the First Nations in getting to this place now. It will be up to the minister to ensure the honour of the Crown and the honour of federal officials. Senator Gold, will you please ask the government to continue to uphold the honour of the Crown by expediting a mandate for negotiations to begin as soon as possible on the modern treaty?
Senator Gold.
Well, thank you for your question, Senator, and for your past involvement and your continued advocacy on this. Indeed, my office raised this concern with the minister after yesterday's question period. I'm still awaiting an answer, but I will continue to raise it with the minister. This government is committed to doing the right thing in discharge of its obligations and to be an honourable partner in a nation-to-nation relationship, and I will continue to press for and raise this with the minister at every opportunity.